Welcome. Today we're going to be having a look at more percentages, calculating percentages of a quantity in particular. Now, just before we go any further, why are percentages useful? Well, in general maths, we are going to be talking about finance maths a lot. We're going to be talking about growth, loss, percentages all the time. It's going to be coming up in units 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is a crucial part of the stuff that we're going to be doing. In finance maths, no matter where you go in life, you will be dealing with percentages all the time. So it is really important that you do have a grasp of how to use them, because they do come up all the time. You would see them almost daily if you go to the shops, and if you go to a bank and you need to have an important conversation about loans or saving accounts, you're going to need to know how to deal with a percentage. So let's have a quick look at actually calculating a percentage of something. So imagine I've got something. I always like to do things in terms of either dollars or grams or liters or stuff like that. So imagine you get yourself a nice little drink and it says that it's 4% sugar, right? And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, if it's 4% sugar and the drink is, say, 365 milliliters, which is a pretty standard size can. Sorry, I doubted myself there for a second. 375 milliliters. Well, then we could ask, well, how much of the can is that? Now, all of last lesson, we were converting to percentages. This here is a percentage. It already is the thing that it is. 100 has to come up in some way, but it's going to come out in the opposite way that it did before. When we were dealing with percentages, going to percentages, we multiply by 100. So whenever we need to undo something, we're always going to be dividing instead. So we're going to go 4 over 100. It's no longer a percentage. Why? Because I've written it in its fraction form instead of writing it as a percentage. And now I'm going to multiply it by 375. Okay? Once again, this is a perfect time to be having a practice with your calculator. So make sure you've got it out and we'll see how it goes. And in this case, we've got 15 milliliters of drink. And that's how you can calculate the percentage of a quantity. Nice and simple. Let's do a few more just to check that we're feeling comfortable with it. So let's imagine we want to instead calculate, say, 103% of... Alright, so this is a great example of increasing the value of something, right? So you've got a shoe that when you make it, it costs $65.38 to actually produce it, okay? And you want to profit on this, all right? If you're going to sell this shoe for that amount of money, you're actually not making a profit. You're just going to break even, essentially. So there's no point in selling it for that cost. So instead what you do is you mark it up. And in this case, we've marked it up by 3%, right? Because we have the 100% plus an extra 3%. So this is like a markup. So we've increasing the value of it. And to do it, well, it's exactly the same. 103 over 100 times... And sorry, my dollar sign changed into an S. So 65.38. And the units are going to stay the same. I'm going to get a much uglier answer this time though. Alrighty, and I'm going to round this to the nearest cent. So we get $67.34. If you're a real business, you'd probably round that up to 35 cents. You probably wouldn't leave it at 34. Or in fact, you might even just round it up to $68 just to be safe. You know, I'm going to make a huge profit on that, but you'd still work. Alrighty, so that was A, that was B. Let's look at one more. Let's do 7.203% of maybe 550 grams, okay? So you find out, your favorite box of cereal is 7.03%. I don't know, fiber or something along those lines. Once again, we take the percentage, 7.03, we put it over 100 because it is a percentage and we want to turn it into a decimal. And then we multiply that by 550 and we get, and in this case, we get 38.665, which I'm going to round to 67 grams. Alrighty. Now just have a quick gut check to make sure all of this feels correct. Right? In the first one, we were looking for 4%, so we should get a number that's smaller at the end. 4% of something, no matter what the something is, it should get smaller, and indeed it does. it went from 375 down to 15. In the second one, it was bigger than 100, so it should actually get bigger. And indeed, it did get bigger. And same thing for C, right? We're doing 7.03%, which is less than 100%, so it should get smaller, and indeed, the grams does decrease, right? So just make sure that whenever we're thinking about percentages, that it's really important to keep that idea of 100% in our mind. How does this percentage compare to 100? Because we're going to be dealing with them a lot. Alrighty, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.